All right, so we're going to do another problem where we're trying to find the distance from the point 1, 0 to the line y equals negative x plus 3. Now, remember that we don't have a graph and you don't have to freak out and, worry about it. You need to make a nice graph and, plot all these points. No, all you really have to do is basically draw the line, but just make sure that it just slopes in the right direction. Because it's a linear equation. So it's going to be a straight line. Is it going to go this way or this way? Since it's negative, it's going to go this way. We're going to call this y1. And this should be problem 2, I think, in our notes. Call this y1. A little crooked, but it'll have to do. Now, the point 1, 0, just to determine if it's going to be like above this line or below, we just plug in 1 into here and see what we get. If we plug 1 into here, we would get negative 1 plus 3. So we would get 2. So then that means this line goes through the point 1, comma 2. So 1, comma 2. Let's just say it's right here. All this is for is so that we know at this point is then going to be below, because 0 is below 2. And let's call this point A. Let's call this point A at 1, 0. Okay, so we need to figure out how far away the point A is from this line. So remember, we got to find the length of a perpendicular segment. So we're going to draw a perpendicular line. There we go. It's not bad. It's not bad. Perpendicular line going through A and the line y1. We'll call this call that point Z. So ultimately, our goal is to find. Let's put it up here. Our goal is our life goal for the next 10 or 15 minutes is to find the length of AZ. Now for that, we want to find an equation for this line. We're going to call it y2. And we can get some idea because y2 is going to be perpendicular to y1. That means the slope of y2 is going to be equal to positive 1 because the slope of y1, let's call it m1, is negative 1. And so the slope of y2, let's just call it m2. Let's put it over here. M2 will be the opposite reciprocal. So positive 1 because 1, reciprocal of 1 is just 1. So we just take the opposite. Whoa. So y2 will be something like 1x plus b. We have to find the value of b by just plugging this point into here. We plug in 1, 0 into here. We'll have 0 is equal to 1 times 1 plus b. Solving for b is going to be negative 1. And that means our equation for y2 will be equal to 1x minus 1. All right, so part 1, it's the first part. Now we have to figure out where the coordinates of point Z is. And that's going to be where y1, this line, and this line, y1 and y2 equal each other. So we want to solve the equation y1 equal to y2. So then let's go ahead, let's do that. Let's set y1, which is negative x plus 3, equal to y2, which is 1x minus 1. Solve this for x. Let's add x to this side, and let's add 1 to both sides, so we get 4 is equal to 2x. And then so x is 2. If x is 2, y is going to be, we can find y by just plugging 2 into either y2 or y1. Doesn't matter which one. Let's just plug it into y2. So plug in this, we'll get y is equal to 1 times 2 minus 1. And then y is just 2 minus 1. Y is just 1. And whoa. Point z then is just going to be at the coordinates 2, 1. Probably could have guessed that. But we don't guess in math. Because right now the problems are going to be very, very neat. The numbers are going to work out nicely, but they're not going to and like in the last part of this section. So point z is at 2, 1, point A is at 1, 0. So now we can just find the distance from point A to point z by just using the distance formula and setting this equal to the square root. Oh, the square root's all crooked. Let's just go down here. AZ x2 minus x1. So let's go and let's do 2 minus 1 squared plus y2 minus y1. So 1 minus 0 squared. Let me write the distance formula again in case some of you are freaking out. How is he doing that? Here it is again, but make sure you guys ingrain this in your brains or get a tattoo or something. So then, this is a pretty simple equation. One squared plus 1 squared. So the square root of 2 and the square root of 2 will be about 1.41 units. All right, simple. All right, so there you go. Hope that helps. Feedback is always nice, but I'll see you guys in the next video where I'm going to go over the distance between two parallel lines. So be ready.